Hello. Right, so yesterday I told you that I would show you how to finish the looped running stitch. And this is how you finish it. Okay? And then what you're going to need to do is if you've already done this. Oh my god, maybe I do need that wine. If you've already done this, then you need to put your hoop on your name. Okay? Because we're going to do names today. If you don't have your name yet, please send me a message. Send me a reminder. Let me know. Because like I told you, like a week ago, Instagram is being funny, okay? So every time I refresh, I find a new name request. And I think I've written over 100 names. And it should be just about right. But I know there's going to be a couple people who are like, oh my gosh, I haven't done it yet. I haven't sent you my name. And that's fine, okay? Send it to me and I will get it sent to you back as soon as possible. I promise you. Okay. So how to finish this? I've left it like this. All right. And what you're going to do is go under the blue over this one like that. No. Why are you doing that? Here we go. A bit of an intruder. Okay, get it where you want it. And what I found worked was to kind of go not straight to this one, but to go to this one up under. Because it gave that same kind of like long look that the other ones had. So there we go. That's it. Honestly, I think it looks so pretty. Let me just push this down a bit so it's not black on the front, on the very top, right here. So there we go. The back should look like that, literally just the running stitch. And then the front, what is this thing coming in? That you need to get trimmed. You know, this is like the random hair that comes out of like your bikini line. Do you know what I mean? Like always just like there for a good time. Like, no, we don't have time for that. Okay. So we're going to do our names tonight. Are you nervous? I hope you're not nervous. So let's set that up. I just know I told you guys I would show you the finish of that, so I had to make sure I did that. Okay, so go ahead and do this here like this. Right, so for this, we're going to be doing the brick stitch and also a regular back stitch, okay? So in some areas where your name is thicker, so on all of the downstrokes, if you notice, if you were to write your name in cursive, okay, so for mine, it would be down T, up, down O, up, down, down. Okay, do you see what I mean? The downstrokes are the ones that are all going to be thicker. Okay? And let me just get this comfortable in there. That's good. You can use any color you want to. I'm going to try and use a lighter color so that you can see the stitches really well. Even though in my heart, I really want to match it with the wildflowers and do the dark color. I'm going to do the lighter color because I really want you guys to be able to see each individual stitch that I do. Okay, so if you see me later take it out and restitch it, it's not because I did it wrong. I just wanted it to be the right color. But I'm gonna do it in a lighter color right now for you. Maybe like a light green or something. I don't know. We'll pick one in a minute. I'm looking at this one though. Like, that's a nice color. Just something lighter that you'll be able to see. Even this one looks like a bit like baby diarrhea though. The thing is, you've got to be able to see it on the fabric, okay? Apparently I really want this color because those are almost exactly the same. I'm thinking this green one though, because if I do the wildflowers, yeah, and then the same color brown here, I can do this one, and that will be really nice. Okay, I'm gonna try and do probably 3 or 4 strands. Let's just cut a length and then try it, and then we can get started. So we're doing a brick stitch. That's 4. Let's do 4. Now, I love doing dark colors for this because they kind of all blend together and you don't see them as much. But if you really like a light color for it, just watch the video and make sure that you're doing it properly, basically. Okay, when I do a brick stitch, I normally, I've got a whole thing for it, but this is not a very big area to be doing that. It's not like a solid chunk of brick stitch. It's just a little bit. So I'm not going to teach it that way. Instead, I'm going to draw a little diagram of bricks, just in case you don't know how bricks work. And then I'm going to do it. Okay? So, bricks. This is kind of the cheat sheet. Okay? So if we've got a T like this, okay, let's just pretend. Can you go closer, please? Go like that. Okay, what we're gonna do is I tend to do, you can either do this side or this side. It doesn't matter which one that you start with. You're gonna do your stitches. So let's just pretend that that's kind of like one stitch. You can do them smaller than that if you want to. We're just gonna pretend for me not drawing 5,000 stitches, okay? So you've got one stitch, just a back stitch, back stitch, back stitch, back stitch, okay? And they're getting smaller as they go down. The reason for that is because you want to have that curve there, okay? Because from here on, for the thin parts, you're only going to use just your 4 strands. So it's going to be back stitch, here, yeah, so tiny little stitches to make your curve go curve. And then the next row over, you're going to go in the middle of the stitch like that, a little half stitch, and then this one here is going to be a full stitch, and then this right here is where it starts to get like, oh my god, what do I do? Okay, from here on it doesn't matter, because we are trying to do the shape over the brick stitch. Does that make sense? I hope so. So what we're going to do is kind of go from here down and then there. Okay? And then here we're going to do a full stitch and then a full stitch, and you can even do a little half stitch and a full stitch, and then come back down. You might have to do a tiny little one to do that little curve, and then a full, and then a tiny little like half stitch to make that curve there. So there's gonna come a point where you are doing your brick stitches, okay, and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do in this section? This is confusing, okay? If that is you, I would abandon this and not do a brick stitch. You can do a split stitch for your lettering as well. So I'm going to show you both on different letters, and then you can decide which one that you want to do for yourself. I tend to use a brick stitch or a split stitch for lettering. With split stitch, you don't have to kind of map it out like that. Notice that all of these ones, so this one and that one, they have the same line. Yeah. This one and this one, they're supposed to have the same line. And then from down here, it gets a little bit chaotic because you need to do the curve more than you need to do the actual brick stitch. You know what I mean? So that's the only bad thing about brick stitch, is that there comes a time, especially with lettering, that you need to abandon it. And people get a little bit like, huh, what just happened there? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a brick stitch for these and how to do a regular split stitch for one. And then you can kind of see the difference. Okay? Now, it's not the best brick stitch example. I will give you that. However, it's really, really nice because it keeps everything in line. And it's really easy to do the same thickness all the way down, where sometimes with split stitch, it's really easy to do a thin top and then like a really wide middle and then a thin bottom again. It's not like the same all the way down. Okay, so this is what I mean. So choose your stitch length. Hold on. I just pulled the knot on the back. All right, so mine's about like that. Okay, so I like to go all the way down, same. I try and do the same length of stitches. My drawing really was not very accurate. So sorry about that. It's just a regular back stitch at this point. Right, hold on. I got another one over there. This is 4 strands, by the way, just in case you wanted to do the same. I'm trying to keep them about the same length, although as I go down, I tend to kind of make them a little bit thicker. Not thicker, longer. Goodness, I do need that one. I feel like all I'm doing is saying the wrong thing. Okay. So this is where we're just going to follow a shape until it gets to the point. Okay, that's what we've got so far. Now we're going to start filling it in. So I tend to do the middle of this one. So do you see the stitch? I look for the middle of this stitch. We're going to go into the middle of this stitch. So just one stitch length away. So new row. Okay, but we're going kind of like middle to middle. Does that make sense? The middle of this one. Again, one row away. This is our next row of back stitch. Okay. So let me do this one, and then I'll show you what it looks like. I tend to like to do at least three rows of brick stitch. Because sometimes when you only do 2, it looks a bit like wavy. And then at the top, remember, you'll have to do a half stitch. So that means that there's not going to be a full stitch length left at the very top here. Okay, so look. As we do our stitch, We still have a little bit here left, don't we? See that little half stitch? Need to fill that in. Okay, now we're going to go back down one more time, okay? And we're going to follow the same pattern, goodness, as the first row that I did, okay? So let's come back up at the very top. And we're just going to look for that first stitch, which is right here. So our next stitch is literally going to be right there, okay? Do you see? Again. The next stitch is right here. I'm trying to kind of like pause so you can see the pattern, because people always say that brick stitch is the hardest for them. When I teach it as a big solid block, I teach it a little bit differently, but this is too small to teach it that way. So I'm just really hoping that you get it from this. Now this is normally where I would kind of stop and do the T as well, the cross of the T. But I'm going to keep going around and do that later. Obviously, each letter will be a bit different. So if you're having difficulty, just let me know. Most of them kind of go the same way though, with this part right here at the bottom. My hands are really starting to hurt. But again, I tried to choose a lighter color so that you could see each of the stitches. Whereas I would normally pick a darker color so they would kind of all blend together. Okay? So again, this is where people are like, oh my gosh, what do I do next? I'm literally going to go up here. And then make these two connect. Like that. And then carry on with your single back stitch. Until you hit the next bit. Okay? If you want to do another layer of brick stitch, so 4 layers, this is only 3. Yeah? If you want to do another layer, or another row, I guess I could say, to make your thick parts of your letter thicker, obviously you can. You're just going to follow the second row. Hold on, let me make it stop moving. The second row, okay? There, 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 there. That's where you'll put your stitches. Okay? So let's do the O. We'll just keep going. It's okay if they're not 100% bricking it, you know? If they're a little bit like, oh, that one doesn't really make a pattern. I would rather you have the outline of the letter than, like, the right shape of the letter than have an actual brick stitch, you know? Goodness, this hoop is so big and heavy. It's really hurting my hands today. Let's see if I can hold it, like, against my body. I'll just zoom in. Now, if you have curves, they're going to have to be tinier stitches. So please do not think that you have to do the same size stitches for the entire thing, okay? You need to follow the shape, oopsies, of your name. Now, some people like to do the outline, meaning like this one, and then that one, and then fill it in. But I tend to have better luck if I kind of do the brick as I'm going in rows up and down. So this one I'm just going to kind of tuck in like that. If you're looking at this and you're saying, F that, Tori, I'm not doing that, just do a split stitch. Do a split stitch if you know how to do that. Because you don't have to worry about rows or anything like that. You can literally just stitch all, which way you want to stitch. And it really will not matter. But I tend to like to do it this way for names, lettering. I feel like it makes it look really nice. So it'll be whatever you like the best. Okay, so this one here, I'm going to go into the second row and connect it because there's only a little bit left right there. There's not enough room for me to do another row. Okay, and then continue on. Pulled it right out, haven't I? This part's just a regular back stitch. Try your best to keep them the same length if you can. I'm doing 4 strands as well. And you're going to cross over just like you would if you were writing the word. So think about cursive. How do you write your name? And if you need your name written, please, please, please send me a message. Send me an email, send me an Instagram. Let me know, and I will write it as soon as possible. All right, we're coming up to the next bit. Now, some people like to do it kind of all at once, but I find that if I do it in rows, it's easier. I don't know if I've said that already, but what I mean is that they work it kind of like sideways, all down at one time. But I feel like when I do that, it gets really out of hand really quickly, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, just stick a stitch here, just stick a stitch there, it'll be fine, instead of actually like working in a pattern. I just find with brick stitch it works way better for me in a pattern, where I can like keep track of where I need stitches, how many I've done, where I need to go next. Is this me like turning into a type A person? I think I'm like a type C person. Like some things I'm like, oh no, absolutely not. And other times I'm like, oh yes, no, this needs to be like planned. And other times I'm like, I don't know what we're doing. We'll find out together. Okay. I think my biggest, I'm going to say weapon for this is when you're doing, calm yourself. When you're doing your kind of last row, to go make sure that you have your last stitch to end there. Yeah? So that when you come here to do your last one, you can put it in there and then start a next stitch. And then that way, it kind of all looks seamless. So I'm going to show you. Yeah? Keeps catching on this right here, which is really annoying. Okay. I got this one. I'm going to do one more. Just to, ooh, I don't even need to do one more because it's already kind of like giving that look. See? And like I said, we're just going to continue how we would. So that means crossing over the top. And there we go. So this will be our weekend project. Take your time on this. I know it's a little bit like, but I promise you it will make sense when you're doing it. Okay? It will. I promise. If you're having trouble, please let me know and I can do a drawing for you. I can do a little video. I can help. Okay? I'm telling you, you're probably watching this going, are you serious? Like, but it's one of those things where you really need to do it yourself to figure out how many stitches you're going to need, where you're going to need to put them, how many rows you're going to do, okay? So you can't just look at mine and be like, oh, right, so I'm just going to do tiny little stitches, make them offset a little bit, and I'll do 5 stitches down and then start curving it. Like, no. You are going to have to do it yourself in order to figure out how big your stitches need to be to get a nice curve, or like everything. And unfortunately, I cannot do it for you. So I'm really sorry about that. Okay, I am going to show you how I do this one though. So when you have an over like this, I tend to go like this all the way and then start down here. I am going to make that thick, okay? And then when you do your brick part for the next one, yeah, tuck it up under there. Like that. So you have a full straight over like that, and then straight down. Okay? So this is kind of what I meant when I said like you could do it all at once. No, Mom, I cannot move the hoop to the left a little because then I cannot see. I don't know where my needle's going. So do you see what I mean? How it's like a little bit more difficult to do it all at one time? Like even for me. Because you kind of work almost 3 stitches in a row. I just find it works better when you do it in rows. And then you can really figure out like where your next stitches need to be. For the curves, and also for this little part here where it kind of like, sorry, all I can see is your finger. I know, it's because it has to be like really close to do it. But you told me the other day that you did a brick stitch really well, so I'm assuming you know how to do this. Yeah? Because you told me that you did a really, really, really great brick stitch. It's just hard without a hoop stand, I'm not gonna lie. So like we got there in the end, but I just prefer doing it in lines. You still can put the lines in there. It's just that these are just really, really small. So you definitely can. If you want to know what I'm talking about with the lines, this is what she's talking about. I can show you it really quickly. So say that you've got, say a square. Yeah? So what you're going to do is you're going to do your first row of stitches. So say there's 3, just for brevity, okay? So you got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 3 stitches. Zoom in a little bit, okay? What you're going to do is where those stitches are, wherever you put those stitches, you could have 4 stitches, you could have 10 stitches, it doesn't matter. Wherever you put those stitches, what you're going to do on your fabric is make a line straight down where you put your stitches, okay? So where your needle went down, that's where you're going to put your line. So this one is going to look like this. Okay? Now you need a different color pen. Get your other color pen. I've got a purple one here, right? Now you're going to put in your half stitch and your next row of brick stitch. So it's going to be a half stitch here, and then this is going to be a full stitch, and then your full stitch, and then a half stitch. Okay? See how that would be? Full stitch, half, half. Yes? And with that, you're going to make another line down where those stitches meet. So here, like that. And then every single time that you do a new row, you're going to follow the next set of guidelines. So we've just done the purple one. Now you're going to go back to green. Okay, you're going to follow the green lines. There, there, there. For the next row, you're going to follow the purple lines. A half stitch, then a full stitch, and a half stitch. Okay? That's how I normally teach it. All right? What? I've just colored in the wrong bit. Dory. Don't mess everyone up. I was trying to color them in to be like, look, they're stitches. Yeah? I don't know if you can see or not. Especially because I've just like messed that one up. But this is the way to do it. Okay? It gives you a really nice guideline for your stitches. However, when you only have 3 lines, it's a little bit harder to do. So when you've got a tiny bit like that, it's hard to be like 1, 2, 3. And then also 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? Obviously, you could do something like that to mark your full stitches and your half stitches, if you can kind of keep track like that. Go for it. Try it, you know? But normally, I teach it like that. So I'm hoping that this made sense. So apologies. Oh, it's been a long week. But I'm really enjoying it, so it's fine. Okay, send me your progress pictures for a chance to win 15 pounds to my shop. And yeah, it's a catch-up. It's a catch-up weekend. So anything that you haven't done already, go ahead, fill it in, try your best. If you are not caught up by Monday, shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't worry. Please don't stress out. It will be fine. I promise you. Okay. They're all saved to YouTube, so it's not like you're missing out on anything, or that you're never going to see this video again or anything like that. Like, it's always going to be there. Putting these in a basket so I can take them downstairs and work on them this weekend. So yeah, we have time. Okay. So please message me with any questions that you have. Send me your progress pictures, and I'll see you on Monday. All right? Bye.